Very large difference between McCain and Obama with regard to Iran, and I think it's an important one. McCain takes a position, as President Bush has, that we should not talk to Iran until Iran says it will no longer try to enrich uranium. In other words, there's a precondition on talking to Iran. The fact is that no Iranian leader is ever going to agree to that condition. And therefore, to take the position that the United States has taken these past few years means, in effect, that you have no negotiations, you have no talks going on of any consequence. Barack Obama says, I'm going to talk with the Iranians at a time and place of my choosing, at a level, diplomatic level, Secretary of State, White House, of my choosing. But I think we must talk to them. How do you solve problems in this world without talking to people? I don't know how you do it. And he said that he'll talk without preconditions. Iran has a lot of grievances against us. We have a lot of grievances against Iran. We've got to put them all on the table and begin talking about them. Otherwise, we'll have a stalemate. They'll go ahead and build their bomb, and the world will become a lot more dangerous place. Let me give you an analogy. I was in the Congress some years ago when we began talking to members of the Supreme Soviet, the parliament of the old Soviet Union. I would get up and give a speech. My Soviet counterpart would get up and give a speech. At the end of the speech, we'd toast each other with vodka, and we'd say, we want peace in the world and we want prosperity for our grandchildren, and then we'd go home. We kept that up for 1 year, for 2 years, for 5, 6, 10 years, and then something happened. The thing that happened was we put away the speeches and we began talking to one another. That was the beginning of the thaw. When Ronald Reagan went to Berlin and said, tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev, that very week he sent an arms control negotiator to Moscow. The point is that for decades we had a difficult situation with Russia, Soviet Union. Either country could hit a button and blow the other country off the face of the earth. But it didn't happen because we kept talking. Now, I think the analogy holds. We're not going to solve all the problems between ourselves and Iran with 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 meetings. But with patience, over a period of time, discussing the full agenda, not just Iraq, the full agenda, we can make progress, I believe. So Barack Obama's position is a position that favors diplomacy first. And McCain, I think, is on a path towards almost certain military action because he's not going to talk to him. And then the question becomes, how many wars do you want? Look, we're fighting a war in Iraq. We're fighting a war in Afghanistan. We're fighting a war on terror. And now I hear people who want to fight a war with Iran or want to fight a war with North Korea. Let's try diplomacy more robustly, more aggressively. I don't know that we can solve these problems by diplomacy. There's no guarantees here. But my goodness, we have to try. And if we don't try, the rest of the world will not be on our side. They'll be on the other side. So I think Obama is clearly stronger in his position with regard to Iran.
Okay, how about the Iraq differences?
The policy of the United States government is clear. We are going to be withdrawing from Iraq. The president has said that. McCain has not said it. He's for an indefinite presence in Iraq. Obama has favored a more accelerated withdrawal. The important thing here is, in accordance with the recommendation of the Iraq Study Group, is that we begin a responsible exit from Iraq. We cannot stay there forever. We have invested trillions of dollars there, over 4,000 lives, and it's time for us now to begin coming out. That's not just Barack Obama's position. That's the position of the Iraqi government. They want us to begin coming out. So I think we will begin coming out at a more accelerated pace. I don't want to see us cutting and running, but I think we have to do it in a very responsible way. We have to put a lot more emphasis than we have on training Iraqi forces and training the Iraqi civil structure. We've got to be much more robust in our diplomatic efforts in the region. I've been puzzled that we haven't been more robust diplomatically. You can't solve the problems of Iraq without involving the neighbors in that part of the world. We haven't done that. And I have never understood why we give money to Maliki, the Prime Minister of Iraq, without conditions. We hand him, in effect, a check every month and say, Mr. Maliki, we'd like you to do the following things. Well, he doesn't do them. And then we hand him a check again the next month. Please do the following things. And he doesn't do that either. Well, he's got that figured out. I believe that if you're going to give money to people, you get conditions on it. You demand progress. And if the progress is not made, then you cut the money off. In other words, I want to put pressure on Maliki to perform. I'm not persuaded that the Prime Minister of Iraq is an Iraqi leader. He is more a sectarian leader, in his case, the Shiites. So we've made a lot of mistakes in Iraq. The security situation is better there today than it was, but the political situation is not much better at all. There still is not national reconciliation in that country. And every general I have talked to says the same thing, and that is that you cannot solve the problem in Iraq through military means. You have to have a political settlement. I think Barack Obama understands that and will work very hard to get it done.